On today's episode, we're actually going to be going through and giving you a little step-by-step on how to build a bash bar for your Subaru Wrx. This is going to be an exterior bash bar, meaning it's going to be on the outside of the bumper, so we don't have any bumper confines that is going to restrict us on our dimensions of our bash bar or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and get to town on making this thing and kind of walk you guys through it, so maybe you can make your own one day. This Wrx actually belongs to a friend of mine. You can check him out on Instagram, give his page a follow. His name is Wrx. Super clean Wrx, all carbon doors, carbon fenders, carbon hood, fully built engine, fully caged, super clean car. So give him a follow. So one of the few requests my customer had with this bash bar was that we try to make it quickly detachable. And to do that, we are gonna go ahead and use these little couplers right here. All right, now that we've got those pieces made, we can go ahead and focus on getting them attached to the front side of the car here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We're gonna clean a little bit of the paint off of the front of the core support here real quick, and then as soon as we're done cleaning the paint off, we can go ahead and weld those pieces that we just made to it. See, twisty wire wheel and our trusty old Chicago electric angle grinder. Always gotta have your safety first. You gotta put your safety shield on. And you always want to make sure before you do any sort of welding on any car ever that you disconnect the battery terminal, the positive battery terminal, so you don't accidentally fry the ECU or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, we've got those all tacked on now. So just a little tack, a couple tacks on each side. Now we can start building off of that. We can build our supports coming out, and then we can start doing the bar that's gonna come up and over. So let's go ahead and get to the next step. Part, we need what's called a cheater bar. We've made a few of these in the past, and this is basically to help us gauge what our angle needs to be without actually having to bend a bar yet. Right, now we want to find our center line, and then right here. All right, center line, 9 inches, make a mark. 50 degrees. All right, so I've gone ahead and cut our initial mounting supports to the same length. So now I can go ahead and notch them. I've already preset the bender, or the notcher, excuse me. I've preset it to 15 degrees. So we're gonna notch at an angle 15 degrees. That's gonna give us a little bit of a rake forward on the forward tube of the bash bar. So let's go ahead and get started with notching this. All right, so I've got our tubes all notched up now. So now we can go ahead and place them on the car, and then we can set the front tube on the bash bar up against these and then kind of see if we got the right angles and everything. Angle looks good. I like the angle. Height looks pretty good. It looks like it might have to come up maybe 1/8 of an inch on this side here, on the right side, driver's side. We'll go from there and kind of get an idea of what we need to do for the lower bar. Alright guys, so we got our next piece cut already. We basically got to mark the center line of this now, and then from there we can go ahead and start marking to the start of our first bends to where we're going to go and wrap it around where the bumper would have been. So let's get started doing that. We'll make the center line mark real quick, and then we'll determine where our bends need to go. Alright, so I've gone ahead and built a little homemade plumb bob here. So what I did is I lined up the top line with the center line on the top tube. And now that has a straight line going down directly to the center line of the bottom tube. Ignore this little tip right here. We're focused on the line. We don't care about that little tip, and that's gonna be crooked. But when you look from like this angle, you can see what I'm talking about. So that's how we know our center line on our bottom bar is going to match the center line on the top bar, and everything's going to be straight and not crooked. There's not going to be too much to one side or the other. So let's go ahead and get started marking for the start of our next bend. See, a lot of what I do is just eyeballing because I don't know if something's gonna look good the first time, so I just wanna get an idea of it in my head. So I say eyeball a lot because in the long run, I'm making sure everything's measured up and square, but when I'm designing something, a lot of times as soon as just holding a part up to something, just to kind of get an idea if that's what I'm gonna want. So I eyeball a lot of things. Before we can get started making the first bends, we have to figure out generally what our angle is going to be. If it's going to be a 15-degree angle, we'll start out at 10 degrees. So we're looking like 19 degrees, almost 20 degrees. Like I said, I want to start less than that, so I think I'm going to go start with 15 degrees on each bend. Mark the height of the lower bar. So we obviously don't want it to hang too low, so we're gonna try and match it with the rest of like the side skirts and everything like that. It looks like the side skirts hang about an inch below this lower core support or subframe right here. Now instead of eyeballing the other side, because we want them to be the same, we're gonna eyeball one side, then measure it, and then mark the same on the other side. We got 3 3/8 inches. Now one of the other things I'm gonna do before I move this bar again is go ahead and mark where I wanna start my second set of bends and figure out the angle of those bends as well. Cheater bar. Kind of see it starting to take shape now. Take my handy dandy Sharpie, come over here and mark the direction of our notch. So I go with right about here. It's like right in the center. And then we'll come on to the other side. We'll do the same thing. We'll make a mark right on the pass-through. So about there. The last thing we're going to want to do for the notch marking is we need to mark the angle that the tube has to pass through. So obviously this is the angle we're cutting it at. You always want to cut it at a flat angle because you're going to notch into that. So I've made the mistake of trying to, let's just cut it right here flat across here. Well, now you've taken all your material out of this area here and you can't make a notch correctly. So I'm going to go a lot of times, like I tell you, it's just eyeballing this stuff. this. We just gotta finish taking out the top ones, and then we can remove this forward bar, or top tube, whatever you wanna call it. And we can cut them right here and begin notching. See how she pops off. Ha, look at that. See how she goes back on. Oh, it's so easy. Dude. Just put some screws in it. That's gonna be nice. I'm basically just trying to line up these lines. See that line right there? And there's a line on the back side right here. Trying to line those up parallel. That's the way it's got to pass through. See, we're trying to line up that line with that mark right there. So I still got a little way to go, actually.
There you go. Check it out.
Okay, right?
Yeah. Just double check to make sure.
Looks pretty good to me. Yep. Now we just go ahead and notch her.
Like that.
Hey everybody, we're back today. It's Monday. We're ready to get finished on this Subaru front bash bar here, and we got a little helper in the house today. And if you can tell, he's busy trying to untie my shoelaces right now. He's been doing that pretty much all day long, and it's gonna make getting to work pretty difficult, or getting any work done pretty difficult. So anyways, we're gonna try and work with him here. He's a little puppy, so bear with me. Guy. I mean, you can't be much cuter. His name is Enzo, by the way. This is obviously, you know what Enzo stands for. Oh, did you just break my lace? I don't know what he did. He did something with it. He's gonna be helping out, make sure everybody does their jobs around here. So let's go ahead and try and stay off of his bad side. As you can see, he's already getting mad at me for not getting to business here. He's trying to untie my shoelaces, telling me to get busy. So let's get busy. All right, now before we get started bending or cutting any tube, we need to measure out the distance of this upper side tube for same bend spots and same angles. So we're gonna get started about right there. Keep in mind, this is just a rough estimate of length. So yeah, I think we're gonna do about 30 inches where we're gonna cut it at. Then we can make the first notch over here, and we start bending everything. Watch out, buddy. Last spark shooting. All right, now that we've got them cut the length, we can go ahead and start getting the end of the top tube notched. So for one of the first things we want to do before we actually go ahead and make any bends on this tube is we want to notch it first, because you can see right here that once we notch it, we're going to get about 1.5 inches closer to this actual tube. So if we were to mark it before we notched it, it would be in the wrong spot. Go ahead and get started notching this real quick. Find the right angle that we need for it to be notched through there, and then we'll do that real fast, and then we'll go ahead and find the starts of our first bends.
With a
Holla at the plug, cause it diamonds on my neck. Gold in my grill and I'm riding with a tech. Gold in my grill and I'm holla at the plug, cause it diamonds on my neck. Gold in my grill and I'm riding with a tech.
All right, now that we got it all notched, we can basically mark the location of our bend, where our bend's gonna start. And you can see down there, that's where our bend's gonna start. That mark right where the little tack weld's at right there. So we're just gonna transfer that up to this tube right here. Okay, so now that we got the bend marked, we can go ahead and measure from our longest point of the notch to where we wanna start our bend. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with 8 5/8, just after it. And now we mark this guy. Same deal, 8 5/8. Now we've got 8 5/8, 8 5/8. Now let's start the bends right there. Those first bends are gonna be 30 degrees because they're gonna match the same as the bottom bend, and that's 30 degrees. And then the second bends are gonna be 20 degrees, so 30 and 20. So we're gonna start out with 30 right here, and then we're gonna mark the same bend according over here and do a 20-degree bend. All right, now we've got our notches done and our first bends done. So now we want to mark where our second bend is going to start. So make sure we get this all lined up with that first bend mark down there. So that's pretty good. We got our bend marked. So we gotta just go ahead and bend it, and you can see it's lined up right above our other bend mark. And this one is lined up right above our other bend mark. All right, so we're just at the point where we're ready to tack these side pieces on here. Before we pull it off, we'll put those in place, and then we'll go ahead and do the attaching little pieces back here, and then we'll be able to pull the entire bash bar off and finish weld the entire thing. Gone ahead and cut these two pieces, bent a little 10-degree bend in each one of them and notched them already. These are just gonna be the end little connecting pieces that basically go on the sides of the bash bar. So we're gonna get started on mounting these in place. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this AHP Alpha TIG 200 TIG welder out of here real quick so that our buddy Joe can go ahead and get started TIG welding the sheet metal mounting tabs for the front of the bash bar on the Subaru here. So let's go ahead and pull this out here real quick. that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed our little breakdown of the Subaru Bash Bar build. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Remember to share the video with your friends even, because the sooner we get to that 1,000 subscribers, the sooner we can have that giveaway for the roll cage. Also, don't forget to comment roll cage in the comments below, because if you don't comment roll cage, we don't know who's subscribing. So remember to comment roll cage in the comments below and we'll get you entered into that roll cage giveaway. All right guys, we'll see you on the next episode where we're gonna be working on this G35. We're gonna be building a roll cage in that. We're gonna be throwing a pretty big supercharger on it as well. So that's gonna be pretty exciting, but we'll see you next time. Have a good one.